see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us names. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning and welcome to episode 838 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee is strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter free. I'm Brian, your host, and it's May 12th, 2025. This morning, I'm enjoying a fresh cup of Bob blend. That's the bottom of the bag blend that I make up in a jar. It's absolutely fantastic. I had enough to make a couple cups here, but that's from foodforestfarms.com. All those bottoms of the bags mixed together from foodforestfarms.com because life's too short for bad coffee. At Food Forest Farms, your beans are roasted by real human hands using a clean Airstream roaster. More than just a customer, your family. Get 10% off with code LOTS10, and the shipping is always free. That's code LOTS10 for 10% off. Awesome coffee. And while you're there, check out the C4 Club for even more awesome perks. Today, I got another full show. We're going to be talking about natural disasters are stacking up here in Tennessee and around the country. We got earthquakes, volcanoes, and even falling space junk. There's rage and violence everywhere that I've been noticing a little bit more. Why does every situation need a small army of cops? I'll talk about an encounter this weekend that we had while we were out in town. And I've got an update on our table build and the truck. Oh, my truck drama. Jesus. Anyway, grab your coffee, smash the like button, and let's get started. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Ooh, crowd in the chat already. Good morning, Rewilder Life. Thanks for hanging out in your little bit of free time you had this morning. Good morning, Jim. How's it going? Good morning. Good morning. Rewilder Life says first cup with collagen, maca, and mushrooms. Interesting. How does it taste? My Bob's really good. Good morning, Canadian Farmstead. Thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by. Bitcoin got the green light there. Bitcoin doing well this morning. Well over the last week or so. This morning it's holding steady. We're at 104,500, 104,531. Not bad. My insight, I don't know. I don't have any insight anymore. It doesn't matter what the price does. It just does. It does what it does. Mike's Homestead, good morning. How we doing? Updates on the mushroom logs. Yeah, I can talk about mushroom logs real quick here. Moved mushroom logs at Delinquent Scully. Just finally got an opportunity, and the day was right. The temperature was right. To do the work. Basically, when we did all the mushroom logs last fall, Corey and I drilled and plugged. I think it was like 46 mushroom logs. I think we had five different types of plugs, and so we took the logs and we took them all up to the cabin at DG and did them in the backyard. So we didn't have to haul all the stuff down to the food forest where they were going to live. And so we stacked them up, and they've just been kind of living by the cabin, and they are what they are. I didn't see any growth or anything on them this spring. I really wasn't expecting much because we didn't inoculate them until it was October, middle October even, I believe. When we did it. And so finally this spring, I got around to moving them down where they're going to live in the food forest. On the edge of the food forest, there's a huge tree with a big old canopy on it. And so so it'd be the south side of the food forest. And so there was a nice clearing where actually Mike's Homestead was the first to cut down through there with a weed eater on the first Delinquent Scully workday. But there's a big opening behind the tree. I shouldn't say big. It was big enough for all the mushroom logs. And so I finally got around to taking the cart, loading up all the logs and making the trek down there and getting them stacked up in the log cabin style, in their final resting place. So they're all moved down. They get like probably, I would say 90% shade where they're at, especially this time of year. In the winter, it'll be different, but we'll see. But they will still get some rain and moisture. And Mike Homestead says nothing different for mine. Rewilder Life says mine need rain. And Canadian Farmstead had a nice flush this past week. With the rain situation, if they don't end up getting rain and they don't end up getting enough moisture, I'm hoping to have a water collection system set up right there in the food forest, both for watering plants, for propagating plants, and for soaking and shocking mushroom logs. So the creek runs right through the little creek runs right through the food forest there. So hopefully we'll be able to just have a small collection point where we can grab water and artificially get those logs wet. I'm giving them time. It's only been a few months, so not too concerned about it. The ones we did in the woods with Carrie Brown, the original logs we did, they've been sitting in the woods for a little longer than that. We did those earlier, and we weren't sure if those plugs were good. He got those secondhand from somebody, wasn't sure how they were handled, and we don't know. We just did them as a whim, and so they're sitting in the woods. If they produce, they produce. If they don't, they are just going to sit in the woods. So we'll see. Got them all moved. Rewilder Life asking when she can retire. I'm not sure. Somebody asked in the group, in the Telegram chat the other day, what price Bitcoin can I have my freedom or something. I don't think it's going to be before the next halving. Let me tell you that. It's not in the 6-digit numbers. Let's just say that. So anyway, good morning. Jim over on Nostr says you're live, but your feed is empty. I got to figure out what the hell's going on with Zap.stream. I just don't have the time nor energy to sit and go live and not go live and figure it out yet. But that would probably be a good idea. Canadian Farmstead says, for money, I'm set for life as long as I die next Thursday. I was going to say I could retire this morning if I was to kick off before like noon. I think I'd be all right. So anyway, that's what I got there. This Bob is actually really good today. I don't know. It's funny. I mix all those leftovers, and I shouldn't say they're leftovers. They're roasted like less than 30 days ago. That's the beauty of Food Forest Farms is the stuff is roasted right before it heads out, and so the ends of the bags I mix them all together. So I guess these could be up to 60, maybe up to 60 days old. But for some reason this one tastes just fantastic, and I can't tell you what's in it. I couldn't even tell you what kind of beans are in it. So that's a little frustrating because I would really like to duplicate that because it's really good. Canadian Farmstead is Folgers is hitting the spot. Folgers is more like 600 days past roast since they have to stale it and make it stale before they put it in the container. Otherwise it would explode. So Andrew Weiler Life's second cup is much better. No maca this time. So there was an earthquake. Let's get to it. There was an earthquake, actually a couple earthquakes in Tennessee this weekend, and not in the normal spot. So we moved here. I kind of knew. Corey has been let in later, but the New Madrid fault line is rather close to where we're at. We're on the if there was a huge Canadian Farmstead says, yeah, but there's a special seal that locks in the flavor. And you spelled flavor with a U, so flavor. How do you spell check? Do they write checks in Canada still? And is it with a QUE? So the New Madrid fault line, where we're at here from the maps that I see, we're kind of on the very outer edge of the quake zone, the where there'd be damage. I think if there was a huge New Madrid earthquake like there was back in I think it was 1800s, we would feel it for sure. And we could probably have some damage, but we're not like right on the fault line. There have been a bunch of earthquakes since we've been here near Jackson, north of Jackson, Tennessee, which is probably an hour. Jackson's about an hour. I think the earthquakes where they've been epicentered have been a little further, like another 40 minutes north. So pushing 2 hours away, and they've been relatively small. I haven't felt anything here, but that's not saying anything because the dogs, when the dogs itch or move in here, the camper kind of vibrates. So it's I probably wouldn't even know an earthquake happened unless it was like right here. Canadian Farmstead might want to factor that into your cabin build. Yeah, sure. Yeah. All right. I will. I'll put it on springs or something. But anyway, so a couple small earthquakes there. The odd part about the ones this past weekend, and I saw different reports that there were two. I'm gonna pull up my notes here real quick. Are they? There they are. I don't want to see that. So the site that I checked out, earthquaketrack.com, it's you can search by place and everything, and so in Tennessee in the last 7 days there have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 earthquakes. 8 out of the 10 have been over on that New Madrid fault line. They've been relatively small, 2.3, 1.9, 2.0, 2.8, and pretty consistent depth between single digit kilometer, like 5 to 10 kilometers deep. Saturday, and from this site, it says it was a week ago, so the Sunday prior, they were on the east side of Tennessee. They were my friends in Knoxville. All my friends in Knoxville got a little rumble on Saturday morning with a 4.1 magnitude earthquake. It was 24 kilometers deep, and it resonated way out because of that. From what I understand, it didn't necessarily shake as much as you would in a 4.1, but because it was so deep, it resonated way out the where you could feel it. And depending on what kind of geological structure was in between, it had this weird pattern where there were reports of people feeling it. And now reports of people feeling it, I have to take with a grain of salt, because, I heard there was an earthquake. Yeah, I felt it. One of those things. So anyway, other side of the state. And because it happened, there were a bunch of articles that popped up in my feed. And it appears that there is a seismic zone on that side of the state. A lot of people don't know it. It's a way smaller than the New Madrid, but it has been active. And there have been several articles recently that are talking about the North American plate is really ready to start rocking and rolling. That's not just here in Tennessee, but that is all the seismic zones in North America are increasing in their pre-activity. They're increasing in the odds, and the time is about due for some bigger earthquakes in North America. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't know. I felt an earthquake once in my life. It's nothing that there's nothing that I really have. It wasn't a big one. It wasn't a big one. I really wasn't sure what happened, and it was after the fact that I found out that it was an earthquake. Canadian Farm says, so you're saying you're in the middle. We're way closer to the New Madrid than the seismic zone on the other side of the state. And maybe I should get my scuba tanks in my EDC. We are moving closer to the Tennessee River, and I'm curious if maybe when the big New Madrid earthquake comes, if it's going to crack open the Tennessee River even more, and that's going to become like the ocean front. Because we could really be within 5 miles of the ocean if that half of the United States just cracked off at the Tennessee River. So we'll see. Even though the Tennessee River is a lake, I guess. Kentucky Lake. I don't know. These people are weird here in this state. They name their lakes or rivers, and rivers or lakes, and I'm not sure. Rewilder Life says one way to annex California. That's also on my list here of increasing natural disaster type of stuff. Canadian Farm says Delinquents Beachfront Resort. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not a big fan of the beach, but maybe if it was like the cliffs of Dover or something, and we had a beautiful view of what used to be East Coast. Anyway, on the other side of the country, a story popped up, and I saw it, and I took notice, and it doesn't seem like it's getting a lot of attention, and that might be warranted. That this might be just something that I put together that is coincidence. But Corey and I watched How the Earth Was Made series a while back, and I think I mentioned it on the show a few times. But it was all the stuff about the tectonic plates and the earthquakes and the gorges and how the plates the magma would come up and then roll down, and that's how the plates were formed and shift. And it was a really interesting series. But they talked a lot about these earth changing events. A lot of enormous tsunamis and just seismic activity causing all sorts of destruction. And it seemed like a lot of them were volcanoes off the coast of continents, of mainlands. And so a story popped up in my feed randomly that said, underwater volcano off the Pacific coast of Oregon could erupt soon. And I was like, I remember seeing in that documentary that there was a volcano off the coast of Washington or Oregon, it might be this one, that at one point erupted and caused a lot of shit on the earth or on the land. And so I was like, whoa, I wonder if this is the same thing. So I look it up, and so the summary is underwater volcano axial seamount located about 300 miles off the Oregon coast is predicted to erupt in 2025. This prediction is based off observations of increased seismic activity in the volcano's history of frequent eruptions. While an eruption is likely, it's not expected to pose any threat to land-based communities. Now, I'm curious if they're talking no threat from lava, like Mount St. Helens or lava flow or something like that. I was more interested in the water, the water causing tsunami, the water causing a great big wall of water coming at the earth and coming at the coast and taking hit. I don't know. It might be something that's happening often, but it clicked from watching that documentary and the destruction that can happen when these things erupt under the water and push those waves up onto the shore. So West Coast, West Coast might be going swimming. I don't know. It says no volcano or no immediate threat. The volcano is too deep and far from shore for any potential eruption to cause significant damage or pose a threat to coastal communities. Yeah, I don't know. It does not pose. I just did another little quick search. It says it does not pose a tsunami threat to Pacific Northwest. So I don't know. Maybe it was a different volcano they were talking about, but I do distinctly recall there was one off the coast of the Pacific Northwest that did some crazy damage. Canadian Farmstead said, would they tell us if there was a threat? And that's what I'm wondering. Like, what do you do? The one that they talked about on the documentary, they said it was a wall of water, and it was some stupid amount, like 200 foot tall, and it went miles inshore. So yeah, what are you going to do? Evacuate the whole West Coast because a volcano might go off and a tsunami might happen? From what I understand, it would make Fukushima look like nothing. Every Wildlife says they got their bunkers, they don't care. That stuff is circulating around again. So be it. If they have their bunkers, they have their bunkers. It is what it is. And a story that Rachel brought up actually last week came to fruition. The Russian spacecraft Cosmos 482 that they launched back in 53 years ago, I think. March 31st, 1972, it was launched and was supposed to go to Venus. It was supposed to be able to land on Venus and do a mission there like they're doing on Mars now currently. And it didn't quite make it. It had some malfunctions. It never left Earth's orbit, and it's been orbiting Earth for 53 years. And it came back to Earth Saturday morning, 2:24 a.m. Eastern. And there was questions about where it was going to hit. And I believe it was like the size of it was like 3 foot diameter, and it weighed enough that it would have hurt quite bad if it hit you. if you were the lucky one that it landed in your house, you weren't going to be real happy about it. But it sounds like they think it landed in the Indian Ocean. And the disconcerting part about it is the first articles I was reading about it that morning after it landed, it was like, we think it landed in the Indian Ocean, but we're not sure yet. Wait, what? And then I realized it was like a 3 foot ball falling on Earth somewhere, and they weren't exactly sure. But it sounds like they've confirmed that it fell into the Indian Ocean, which is normally where it sounds like a lot of spacecraft end up when they randomly fall to Earth. So we'll see. Well, maybe there's a big magnet in the ocean there that it goes to the depths where the krakens live or something to that effect. I don't know. But anyway, safely back to Earth. But anyway, it was interesting to dive into a little bit about the guy that I mentioned talking about increased North American plate activity in the very near future. So, and to seismologists and Earth scientists, the near future is like hundreds of years, I assume. So I don't know if it's like tomorrow, but things seem like they're starting to shake a little bit more. Maybe the eclipse did wake up the giants. Maybe they are just they hit snooze a few times and they're about ready to unleash their hell on North America. Anyway, the show today brought to you by comfryroots.com. Comfryroots.com is my little side project there. I've been selling comfrey now since I think it was 2016 when I went back and figured it out, and have gone over 10,000 comfrey roots shipped, well over 10,000 actually. But 10,000 was a nice big round number. Right now over at comfreyroots.com, you can buy a 5-pack. That's 50 crowns and you get a free established, or 50 root cuttings and you get a free established crown, and not the crown that you pick you get when you harvest the plant. If you've ever harvested comfrey or propagated comfrey, you dig it up, you cut the roots off, you put the crown back in the ground. This is actually a crown that's been grown by itself in a 4-inch pot. It's going to be harvested and pulled out and sent to you along with your 50 roots. And that's about really what I started with back in the day when I started my comfrey patch. It was about 50 roots in a crown. And the big crown you can actually split into 2 or 3, depending on how big the one that shows up at your door is. But anyway, get your comfrey roots started, get your comfrey side hustle started. You can use it to boost your soil, feed your animals, and like I said, start a side hustle like I did. Comfrey pays back fast. I mean, you think in 6 years, 7 years, I've sold 10,000 roots or more. That doesn't include the salve, the savings on food, the animal feed, the leaf matter that we sold locally, the soil improvement, and everything that goes along with it. It definitely is a money maker, and basically you're growing money. So you can find those over at comfreyroots.com. You can grab that crown deal before they're gone, limited time only, and it runs out at the end of May. So you can either wait till the end of May and pick it up then, and risk the fact that they might be gone. They are selling like hotcakes. So head on over to comfreyroots.com. No coupon code needed. Just put a 5-pack in your cart and we will automatically send you one of those established crowns. And it comes with free priority shipping. So should be there faster than the normal post office. Next on the list, I don't know if this is the algorithm doing its work or if this is actually true. And I tried to scope it out. Did some searches. I did some searches on some private browsers. I honestly feel, and this just might be my perspective because I'm watching it and it's what's being shown to me, but that anger and violence have really ramped up recently. Specifically since Trump was elected again. And it feels like the mentality of the folks causing the scenes, partaking in the incidences, the Tesla stuff, the spitting on people, I had a list here. Hold on. And I tried to figure out if it was liberals losing their mind because of Trump or if it was a reaction from MAGA types as a retaliatory thing. And it looks like it's a little bit of both. From my searching. As an anarchist looking at both sides, I think they're both fucking nuts. I think some of the stuff that Trump is doing is absolutely asinine. I think some of it is on purpose and trolling. I think that some of his ideas are okay, but I just don't like. Why do you feel like you I mean, I know why. I shouldn't. I don't need to answer my own question, but anyway, I agree with more of what his intentions are than the last. Well, I shouldn't say the last guy. Whoever the people that were running the last guy were, but observing the reactions of the dissenters. So during Biden's administration versus during Trump's administration, and not just this one, the one prior, I feel like there was more public violence, and almost the people that are perpetrating it feel justified in it. They're like, well, I don't agree with them, so I can do this. Is this a shift? Has this been happening for a while? I don't recall people being angry at Bill Clinton and spitting on people. I don't recall the violence during. I recall protests and people angry during, say, Obama's presidency. I don't recall the just blatant disrespect for personal property and well-being, physical violence on people and or things. I feel like it's really building, and it yeah, that's just something I've been noticing in news stories. But in my search, it says there's been a marked increase in public rage and political violence. The escalation is evidenced both in frequency of violent incidents, and the growing acceptance of political violence across ideological spectrums. They're saying that it's on both sides. And as I look at this, I try to keep my bias out of it. I try to keep the fact that I agree with one side a little bit more than the other side. But it says that a lot of the political violence is still right-wing extremists. And I don't know if that's a narrative that's put out there. I don't. I really don't. I don't notice them. I notice them saying who it is a lot more when it is on the right. Other than that, it's just a name and not a label, which might be on purpose. I don't know. And that could definitely skew search results. But since the 2024 election and going into 2025, there's been several domestic terrorist attacks. There's been all sorts of political rallies that have turned violent, and don't forget the Tesla stuff. What made me curious about this and start going into it was the dude that got spit on the other day. Excuse me. Was it the district attorney, the attorney for the United States? I can't remember what his name was, but they ended up arresting the lady. The thing that I was just like, when did we get to a point where that's okay? When was that? Was I blind to it until I started seeing it from both sides? Jim says, I had a liberal guy I drove to the airport completely lose his mind when talking politics. They're not dealing with it well. And Hunter says, when the left does it, it's political protest. When the right does it, it's domestic terrorism. I mean, there is something to be said about that. There is a known slant in the media towards the left, and so that would affect both reporting and also search results when the search results are coming from the news reports. And I don't know. I feel, and I don't think it's right on either side. I don't think it's right for. I mean, discourse is fine. Talking, disagreeing, arguing, expressing your opinions verbally. I think it's perfectly fine. Scream all you want and have a hissy fit. But when it comes to spitting on somebody, defacing their property, hitting them, any sort of physical altercation. When did it come? When did people think that was okay? What has triggered this thought that that's fine? And is it only going to get worse? Is this the spiraling down of society where it's just going to be an all out at some point it's just going to be an all out brawl? I don't know. Stay strapped, guys. like seriously, you don't say you say the wrong thing, and you could end up just getting cold cocked for no particular reason, just because somebody disagreed with what you said. I don't know. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. It's just something that I noticed and did a quick search to see if it tracked with what I was noticing, and then I also had to question, like I said, those search results, because I don't really know. I don't really know if you're getting accurate description. Canadian Pharmacist said predictive programming. Why do you think they made a movie called Civil War? Yeah. I don't know. Like, it is what it is. It is what it is. Hunter says, remember that story of the guy in the red hat got jumped because they thought it was a Magna hat? Yeah. And Jim says, don't do stupid stuff in stupid places with stupid people more than ever. Correct. Right. There is that. And the Magna hat and everything. And it's sad. It's sad. Like, if you want to support your person, who cares? Why has it become... I remember when I was a kid, this is a long time ago, granted, there was a reason the voting booths had curtains on them, because it was your choice, and it was nobody's business who you voted for. You went in, you pulled the curtain, you did your thing, and no one knew. Some people prominently said, yeah, I'm a Republican or a Democrat or blah, blah, blah. But it was nobody's fucking business. Now it seems to be like a badge of honor and or dishonor. Canadian Farm says, how about the woman who got arrested for ripping down the Greek flags outside the Greek restaurant because she thought they were Israeli flags? Well, and that's the other problem is I think we're rolling in unfounded hate and violence and mixing it with the dumbing of society, and just the stupid people are being used as pawns to do this shit. Let's get them fired up. They don't even know what the fuck they're fired up about, and they're stupid enough to get shit confused. It's a great combination: violence and stupidity. Canadian Farm says idiocracy. Yeah, it's the scene when Hunter says change the judges. I don't know. Aren't they arresting judges and shit? And the worst part is the leaders of these parties are feeding into it. Who was that asshole that was it the mayor of Newark? I mean, he's doing such a good job. Everybody wants to go to Newark, the armpit of the fucking world. That asshole, what did he do? He stormed a detention center or something. They had to arrest him, and they made some big deal about that. Canadian Francis is welcome to Costco. I love you. I was thinking more when he first woke up and he was walking down the street and there was that group of people and he talked to them and they couldn't understand him, so they started chasing him. Like, we're gonna beat his ass. Or rehabilitation. He talks all faggy and stuff. like, I think that's where it's going. I just, it's not good, guys. It's not good. I can't wait to just get in the woods and yeah. Anyway, if you guys want to set one up for me, I did not call anyone the N-word. I did not call anyone. I didn't say down with the Jews in a Jewish-owned restaurant. I didn't do anything of that fact. But if anybody would be willing to set up a GoFundMe, I could use $500,000 for my protection, or whatever those folks are putting those raising all that money because they do something stupid, and then people want to donate to them. So I haven't done anything stupid recently, but if somebody would care to put up a GoFundMe for me and raise a bunch of money, I would love to just disappear in the woods. So there you go. There's a call out. If I need to, I would be more than willing to offend everybody on the face of the earth if it came down to if you need a reason to set it up, I would be happy to offend everyone. I will not leave anybody out, and I'm sure I could do fine. So anyway, that's an open invitation if anybody wants to set that up. I might have to set it up myself. Jim says, if you do something stupid, I may be enticed to donate, but it's gonna have to be good. Oh, it would be good. Like, if we can give verbal commitments from enough people that I can just turn off all of my internet stuff and disappear into the woods, I would make it good. I couldn't do this. I have enough training over my life that I could really make it count. So, but we definitely need we'll definitely need mid six figures. If seven figure donation would definitely do it. So let me know when that's going to happen, and I will start writing the transcript of what something stupid will be. Oh, it'll be fueled by hate and whiskey. Let's just do that. This weekend I saw something interesting, and I don't think it's an isolated incident. It did seem a little aggressive. Corey and I were headed to town to get groceries, and we take a back road that kind of twists and turns and winds, and then it comes to a T with a 4-lane highway that you turn onto. And as we were coming up to you can kind of see it as you're coming up from quite a ways away. And I saw flashing lights at the corner. I was like, "Are there cops at the corner? Maybe something happened. Maybe there's an accident, or whatever." It seemed like a lot of lights. And as we pulled up, you could see a little. It was like a Suzuki Sidekick or something like that size, sitting on the side of the road. There were we originally could see like 3 cop cars. It turned out there were 5 cop cars and at least 6 officers and a canine. So I guess they're considered officers. So 7 officers at least. And no person to be found. I couldn't see anybody. The fucked up part is when I came to the T, it's a 55-mile-an-hour zone, and I had to cross the oncoming traffic to get into the lane I was going into. And there were so many fucking cops in the way that you couldn't see the lane. You couldn't see the oncoming traffic, 55-mile-an-hour traffic coming at you. And 6 or 7 cops standing around with their fingers up their ass, and not one of them could stand there since they blocked the view of traffic Not fucking one of them could let you know if there were vehicles coming. They were all just sitting on the guardrail, and one person was kind of milling around because I'm sure there was an army of fucking people in this little sidekick where they needed fucking 7 cops and 5 cop cars and a canine unit. What a waste of fucking money. There were 3 different agencies. There was the city of Savannah, Tennessee. They're a bunch of fucking assholes. There was the Hardin County sheriffs that I see nothing more than driving around the county just looking for people to harass. And then the Tennessee state troopers had also had a vehicle there. I'm sure it was a very imminent situation. I'm sure that they really needed that many folks to handle this. Corey and I went to breakfast, and then we went and got groceries. We went to the meat market. We made another stop, and I said to her, I was like, I bet those assholes are still there when we come back. And they weren't there, but there were 2 or 3 of them now had somebody pulled over on the other side of the road. A little girl, she looked like she was probably in her late teens, little blonde girl in a vehicle, and they had 2 or 3 fucking cop cars with her. Why does it take an army of police to make these traffic stops now? They wonder why there's animosity towards police officers. They wonder why there is folks are like, Jesus, what's going to happen to me when they pull me over? If a single person is in their vehicle and a cop shows up, and then another cop shows up, and then another cop shows up, I think tensions are going to be rising. We had to search the vehicle for drugs. And to be honest, I don't know what happened. But you can't tell me that there was that many people needed. There were that many officers needed. Jim says it's for your safety. Yeah. My safety. It just irritated the shit. I was pissed. For I don't know, a good hour or 2 over that one. The thing that irritated me the most was the traffic. They were blocking the view of traffic. They were actually causing a public safety nuisance. And this isn't just like I wasn't the only car that rolled up to it. It's a very frequented road and a very busy intersection. And for that fact, I've seen multiple accidents in the time that we've lived here at that particular intersection. So for them to block the oncoming traffic so you can't see what's going on, that's for my safety. And then they're just all sitting around leaning on the guardrail, probably joking about, we're really going to fuck this guy over. Jim says, why didn't I call the cops to report it? I don't call the fucking cops for anything. I don't call the cops for anything. What's the fucking point? So they can come and take a report? I don't want them to have my phone number. Oh, God, it irritated me. Hunter says so they can come and shoot somebody, right? The woman now. One thing that I noticed, the woman that had the canine cop, she had this huge. Corey mistook her for a civilian both times. She had huge hair, in a big like puffy, blown out ponytail. It was enormous. And I was like, wow, that has got to be a safety risk for her. If she's struggling, it's the same thing with NFL players that have like dreadlocks hanging out of their helmet. I really just always wish that somebody would grab them and tackle them by their fucking hair. This woman, I really think this is probably a public safety hazard with her having that hair. Like, it was huge. It was absolutely enormous, and I don't see how that is appropriate for that type of work when a physical altercation. It could mean her life or death if she gets her head slammed against the fucking wall because somebody grabbed a handful of that hair. Just saying. DEI though, she probably needs to have her right to have her hair any way she wants it. Anyway, I'm just not sure why it takes so many fucking cops. That was starting quite a while ago. I remember even back in Hunter says it's a clip-on extension. That was if she spent money to clip that into her head, God help her. But anyway. Oh, you guys, I get all these cop things on my Facebook. I don't know if they're just trying to troll me or irritate me or whatever. But some of these guys that are getting promoted, I see back from where I grew up, their local sheriff and police department. I think it was all because I clicked on one arrest warrant because I thought it was somebody that I knew from high school. I was just curious what they got arrested for. But now they show me all the stuff and they like show me the promotions and things like that. And I look at some of these guys and I'm like, I am not in the best shape. I'll tell you, I'm pushing 50 years old and I got bad knees but I like how are people not outrunning these guys? Like how are they apprehending anyone? The physical fitness standards for the police departments, both here locally in Tennessee and back where I grew up, I don't think the physical fitness standards are where they were a long time ago. Let's just say that. Jim says the population of our town has declined by almost half, but the police force has as many employees as ever. They were just looking for something to do. Well, yeah, I mean, it's gross. It's gross. And on top of it, they were causing a traffic problem. Another thing that could help support the show is heading over to Blockstream and picking yourself up a Jade or a Jade Plus hardware wallet. Bitcoin. Oh no, it's red. Oh, we're down to 104,076. Sell it all, guys. Never mind. Don't buy a Blockstream. Sell all your Bitcoin or just send it to me to fund me doing something stupid. But anyway, if you want to secure your Bitcoin, because if it's not your keys, it's not your coins, whether you're just getting started or diving deeper into self-custody, these wallets are built with privacy in mind, open source full firmware, and full functionality. I've used both the Jade and the Jade Plus. Really like that Jade Plus with the bigger screen and the button navigation as opposed to the little wheelie thing. But both are definitely quality products. You can use my affiliate link and get 10% off at the Blockstream store. Link is in the description, or you can go over there and just put in the Lots Project. You'll get 10% off. I'll get a little commission. I really appreciate that. I get paid in Bitcoin, so it helps me stack when I don't have the fiat to exchange for Bitcoin. I get a little bit every time I sell a Jade wallet. And if you need help, you can reach out to me. I'll help you set it up and go that way. I think I mentioned it last week or the week before. The Fold debit card. If you're not using that, let me know. I'll get you a link for that. Fold debit card. You're going to earn Bitcoin on all your purchases, gift card purchases, things like that. And one of the great things about it is they have a deal with Blockstream. When you buy a gift card big enough to pick up a Jade, I believe you get 10% back in sats. So you're getting sats back for saving money and buying your hardware wallets to secure your Bitcoin. So Blockstream Jade, I use one. I recommend. I got it right here. Got one right here. Here's the regular Jade and the Jade Plus. I still have in the box because I was doing some content on it. There it is. Easy to use for a beginner and customizable enough for the advanced. So head on over to Blockstream and use code The Lots Project. Appreciate that. before we wrap up here, give a little update on the couple things we got going on, continuations from last week. Corey and I worked more on our new table. We've come to the conclusion that it's going to be our table because we weren't happy with how the legs turned out using the 2x4s instead of 4x4s. 2x4s to make our own faux 4x4s. The wood filler didn't stain. I shouldn't say it. Like, we only have one coat of stain on it. We're doing a minimum of two, probably two, and depending on how that looks with the wood filler, maybe more, but definitely a minimum of two coats. But after the first coat, I'm not really happy with the way the wood filler took the stain, and you can definitely tell that it's a different material. The table is the table build is complete. We sanded it down. It sanded really nice, and except we bought 3 sanders. I originally bought 2 sanders at Harbor Freight. We were looking to do this project on the cheap, as cheap as we could with tools we had, and buying minimal. We didn't have any power sanders. Do I have a fold referral code on the website? I believe I do. In one of the blog posts, about places to stack sats, there's a couple of different places on my website, in the blog post about in the Bitcoin resources section, where you can get the fold referral code. I don't think I have one in the review section. I'm trying to think right now. But anyway, so we picked up a couple of sanders from Harbor Freight. They were like $20 to $30 each. I got a belt sander and then a palm sander. Made the mistake on both. The belt sander is interesting. It leaves some pretty good gouges in the wood pretty quick. And then the palm sander I got was really the wrong one. And I think it might have been some my fault, just for trying to go with the cheapest model. I got the one that just goes bi-directional and not a random in all directions. And Corey decided when we were doing some shopping at Lowe's that she was like, I don't want to use that one. I've only used one orbital type. And so we found a corded palm sander orbital for cheaper. It was the same price or $1 or $2 cheaper at Lowe's, that was omnidirectional. And so she was using that, and I was using the other two, and I was getting frustrated with how mine were working. And so I was like, hey, can I use that one that you're using for a second? And oh my God, it was so much better. So I probably wasted like $40 on sanders, but I got it all sanded, got the first round of stain on it. It looks really nice. Continued to look for 4x4s, untreated 4x4s. Looks like the closest I can find them is an hour and a half away in Alabama, at Lowe's, and the closest at Home Depot is 2 hours away in Memphis. And both of those, it appears that I'll be lucky with inventory says there's 60. I'll be lucky to get 3 or 4 that are actually straight and not cracked. So we're really trying to determine whether it's worth the drive to go get them, or should I just come up with a different style table to build. The benches are built. That's next on the list. I got to sand those. We also have to do a fine sanding on the table, do another coat of stain on that, and then we're going to seal it up. Once the stain is the way we want it, we'll do some clear polyurethane, because it's going to be an outside table for us. It'll be an outside picnic table. Benches were an absolute pain in the ass with making the legs, seeing that it was all pieced together. I'm not really happy with the way they turned out. And one of the 2x8s that I used was twisted. It had a big old curve in it, and I don't know if that was when I bought it or in the meantime. And that's the thing. I talked about sourcing 4x4s from local sawmills, and I'm wondering if I'll be able to find dried 4x4s, or if all the lumber coming from the sawmills locally is going to be fresh cut, and either we're going to have to sit on it to dry, or if I use it and then it's going to dry and shrink, and it'll end up being worse than using the 2x4. So I have to talk to them. I still have to get a hold of them. It appears that a lot of them don't like to answer their phone around here. So it's going to be like a day trip where I'm going to go have to stop at a few of them, see if they have any dried lumber, or if it's all fresh cut. I'm not sure. I've never bought lumber from a sawmill locally, so I'm not sure how that comes and how that'll play out. Jim tried to share my link, but he can't post links in the chat. Looks like. I can get it. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. The truck, a little update on the truck. It is still running like shit. It seems more consistently running like shit. I will today be calling the shop that changed the plugs and the wires. I'm going to talk to him. We're in a weird situation because the shop needs to order parts. They don't carry parts, and if it's not available locally, they have to order it from like Amazon, just like I could. My issue comes in with the fact that we have one vehicle. If I drop it off, they tear it apart to diagnose something. They have to order a part, and it's going to be a couple days. We don't have a vehicle in the meantime. It is what it is, but I would rather not do that since that I can currently get from point A to point B. So I'm going to try to call them and see if we can do some sort of, if we can do a diagnostic appointment. And then if parts need to be ordered, if I can get the truck back until the parts come in, because when we did the plugs and the wires, it was actually 6 days, six days. Hey Jim, thanks for stopping. I appreciate you. 6 days before the parts came in. So I can't give them my truck for 6 days. I could possibly give it to them one day and get it back like later the next day, an overnight, but I can't do 6 days. It's not viable. They don't have loaner cars. They don't have something I can borrow. So it's going to be a shitty thing. And they might have to take it apart, diagnose it, put it back together, order the parts, and I'll bring it back. And I really don't know if I want to do that. I also could just guess and say, hey, I want you to change injectors, which it might be and it might not be. And if that's the case, I have them change it. I dump the money into it, and they get changed, and it doesn't fix it. And here I am just spending extra money guessing and throwing parts at things. I've gone through that whole scenario in the gas pump industry. Other techs and sometimes myself when you don't have a clue, throwing parts of things, and it costs the customer a lot of money, and I just don't have the patience or the money to put into that truck to do that. So we'll see what happens. I have a list of things I want to talk to the tech about to see if we can figure out what it sounds like it is before he starts tearing it apart, to make sure we can have parts on hand without buying stuff we really don't need. So that's the update on the truck. Not real thrilled with it, but it is what it is. Got to do what we got to do. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here. It's 7 o'clock. We're up to an hour, and I'm gonna take off. I hope you had an awesome week. I hope you enjoyed the show. If if you did enjoy the show, give her a share. Share with somebody you know that'd like to listen, and be sure to check out those two websites, comfrey-roots.com, or pick yourself up a Jade over there with code The Lots Project. You can also find a bunch of stuff over at thelotsproject.com. I got a resource section on Bitcoin, getting together the resource section on podcasting, and some AI stuff over there, and then a whole list of product reviews, and a page for this show, and all sorts of stuff. So got a lot of stuff going on in my world, and I dump it all there. So go ahead and check that out. I appreciate that. Other than that, I hope you guys all have an awesome week, and we will catch up with you again next Monday.